Welcome to a journey of spices, excitement, experiences, and stories of good flavor meeting great vegetables and fruits right here on AUMcuisine. Namaste, Sat Sri Akal, and welcome to another episode of AUMcuisine, authentic, universal, meditative. I'm going to be making a delicious Dal Makhani. Makhani means with butter, but instead I would be using some coconut oil. And to that coconut oil, I'm going to be putting in some cumin seeds. And I think a little bit of a clove sneaked in, so we'll just add more of the cloves there. And then I'm going to be putting in some patta or bay leaves. So these are very important spices when you start working on makhani. And I'm going to be putting in some stone flour as well. Always remember that spices do much better in oil than they do in water or in a gravy sauce. So you really want all the spices to warm up right in the beginning. Then I'm going to be putting in some black cumin seeds. Just this makes the fragrance so wonderful right here. It's just so beautiful to look at. It smells delightful. And at this juncture, I'm going to be adding in some red onions. Just a little bit of red onions for the flavors to be infused. And then some ginger. Remember, when you make this, the order of putting things in are very, very important. And then to this, I'm going to add about 2.5 teaspoons of garlic. Traditionally, this particular version of the Dal Makhani is made overnight and kept in like raw ambers, like a really nice black dal, so the flavor is infused. I'm just going to hasten the process. But I really would like you to perhaps make it in the morning. I love it to soak as a cooked dish all through the day and then consume it in the evening. So the flavor is kind of little infused. So now I'm going to add 2 heaped teaspoons of a paste made out of just plain red onions. And when that is getting used to all of the spices, it's just coming alive beautifully here. I'm going to be putting in some red chili flakes, a little bit more of cumin, 3/4 teaspoon of turmeric, and about 1/2 teaspoon of red chili powder. Now this is the juncture where I add the dark red kidney beans. So the order with which we actually put in the beans for this dish is really important. So when you put in the dark red kidney beans, these kidney beans have already been soaked overnight and cooked. And the red kidney bean is still intact when all that cooking happens. So that's right there. And then once all the spices have gotten to know that bean, we have to add the black urad dal. This is the whole black urad dal. And when that has gone through, you add in some raw red tomatoes just cut up. At this juncture, you add about 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon powder and 1 teaspoon of garam masala. I know that's a lot of spices, but let me tell you, once this is done, your effort is totally going to be worth it. Then the light colored kidney beans goes through. And when the light colored kidney bean goes through, this is the juncture where you add quite a bit of water. Now give that about 5 to 10 minutes. We'll be right back. Okay, that's boiling up some really good flavors in this kitchen right now. And at this juncture, I'm going to be adding in some tomatoes which have been chopped ahead of time. And then I'm going to add in the small Kashmiri rajma. So you have to remember that you don't really need all of these beans, but doing them with all of these beans really brings out a wonderful traditional flavor. And we are just trying to get the whole butter deal out of this, right? So it's going to be completely vegan. So you really want each of the flavors of these beans to come through. So while that's happening in our trusted Vitamix, I'm going to be putting in a pinch of black cumin seeds, a pinch of regular cumin seeds, like a big handful of cilantro, and then a small handful of mint leaves. Then I'm going to be putting in 1 pinch of red chili flakes and salt to taste. And to that I'm going to be adding in some of the beans here. So I'm going to use these beans and the rest of the spices and leaves which are inside the Vitamix to make a lovely paste. And before I make that paste, I'm going to pour in some coconut milk and a teeny weeny bit of water. Great. So this lovely paste is ready, and that's going to be the thickening agent of this beautiful Dal Makhani. It smells so delightful. So this will take another 2 to 3 minutes on high to really get used to one another. So before I do that, I'm going to be putting in a little bit of black pepper, some cardamom, and some salt to taste. Great. So I'm going to put the lid on and we'll come right back for a taste test. Okay, so it's bubbling over really nicely. Just perfect to look at, and it smells amazing. So I'm going to tell you exactly how I like serving this. So I like serving it in bowls like this, and normally a famous combination is rajma and dal, and this is like a really nice vegan version of Dal Makhani. And Dal Makhani and rice also go very well. I sometimes serve it with like jeera pulav or like a mint rice, sometimes just with a slice of bread, and sometimes just like soup. It's a lovely warming time of the year and it just goes perfectly. So the way that I serve it is I take some vegan butter, teeny weeny bit of vegan butter. I put that right in the center of the bowl, and a few mint leaves right in the bottom. The reason I do that is because I really like the mint leaves to dissipate the flavor right through the bowl, and it just looks so lovely and tastes amazing. Remember, these bay leaves or tej patta are not really edible. So that's how much. And you can actually see a little bit of the vegan butter floating like that, which is just perfect. I like to serve a little bit of mint on one side and a little bit of cilantro. I like both those flavors. They complement very nicely with this. Gonna do a taste test. It's warming, so yummy, and what can I say, it's kind of very nostalgic. And this is one of those really beautiful traditional dishes that tastes way better later today. Until I see you again in another episode of Home Cuisine, this is Vaidya Priyanka.